Assalamu alaikum dear students. I am Dr. Iram Imran, Professor and Head of Department Physiology at FRPMC. My email address is drerunimran@gmail.com. If you find any query about the lecture, you can contact me on my email address. Today's the topic of discussion is the membrane potential and resting membrane potential. It's the first lecture of cardiovascular module. Actually, the four lectures which I am going to teach you in this module, the initial four lectures, they are not actually the part of the cardiovascular module. They are in the musculoskeletal module. Since we are not doing the musculoskeletal module first, so we have to do these four lectures to understand the cardiovascular physiology. So these topics, they are best described in Guyton and again in the Sherwood. So, and kindly listen to the my lectures, recorded lectures, and then also consult these two books for proper explanation. So now let's discuss quickly what are the learning objectives of this lecture. Explain the concept of membrane transport and ion channels. This you have done in the foundation module, but we'll quickly review the concept of membrane transport and ion channels. Explain the membrane potential and what is the normal value of sodium and potassium in ECF and ICF. Define resting membrane potential or RMP. Discuss the generation of RMP, how this RMP is generated. Define Nernst potential and Nernst equation. Discuss the role of sodium potassium pump in the generation of RMP. Discuss the normal values of resting membrane potential in different cells. Discuss the Coleman equation and its importance. So these are the learning objectives. Now let's discuss the types of plasma membrane ion channels. Actually, the plasma membrane is a lipid structure. It's a lipid bilayer. So it is impermeable to ions. Why it is impermeable? Because the ions, they are the charged particles, so they cannot cross this lipid membrane and they are repelled. So we have got the channels through which the ions can pass. They are simply known as channels or channel proteins or ion channels. If the word channel is there, it means it's specific for the ion. The ions, they move through the channel proteins. Okay. So these channel proteins, they are known as ion channels or channel proteins, or simply we can say channels. Okay. So ion channels, they are of two types. These channel proteins, they are of two types. They may be non-gated and gated. Means they have the gates and they don't have the gates. So non-gated ion channels, they are also known as ports or leak channels because they are always open. So ions, they are continuously being leaking out. So here the example is given of the non-gated or the pores or the leak channels. You can see there are no gates and they are constantly open, and through which the sodium and potassium, they are moving. So this is a ion channel which is specific for sodium, but there are no gates, so it is also known as a leak channel, and through which the sodium is leaking. You can see the sodium is moving. Here the potassium channel, and through which the potassium ion is leaking because there are no gates, they are always open, and they are going to leak down the concentration gradient. Leak to jab bhi hoga jab wo down the concentration gradient. As you all know that sodium is more in the ECF, its concentration is more in the ECF, so it is going to leak from outside towards inside, that from our ECF into the ICF. Got it? The potassium leak channels, what they do, since potassium is more in the inside, here you can see there are four molecules shown and here only one, means it's more in the ICF. So potassium is going to leak out. You can see that it's going to leak out from inside or from ICF towards ECF. So this is the function of leak channels, that the ions, they continuously leak down the concentration gradient through these non-gated or leak channels, and these channels, they are actually responsible for the generation of resting membrane potential. How we will do afterwards. But at present, just remember that these leak channels, they are responsible for the generation of resting membrane potential, and it is the diffusion process which is going through these ion channels. है ना, active transport नहीं हो रहा. There is a passive diffusion, means they are moving from high concentration to low concentration through the membrane. Okay, but since membrane is impermeable, so they need the ion channels for their passage. Now the second type of ion channels, they are the gated one. They means they have the gates. So if there are gates, it means they can open and close. These are gated channels. The gated channels, they are of, you can see here, these are the always open. Always open कौन से channels हो गए? These are the leak channels or non-gated channels. Other are the gated channels which open and close. So there may be four type of gated channels: chemically gated or ligand gated, mechanically gated, thermally gated, and voltage gated channels. There are four types of gated channels, means they open and close because they have gates. Now first one is the ligand gated. Here is the example of ligand gated. You can see here that it has receptors. These proteins, these channels, they have the receptors for binding with some ligand, or ligand is any chemical, any signal molecule, which may be a hormone, which may be any chemical substance, which may be a neurotransmitter, any substance, any signal molecule which comes and bind, and the channels they are going to open. Otherwise the channel was closed because they have the gates. You can see sodium inside cannot move through these ion channels. But once the gate is open, by binding with the ligand, the gate is open and now the sodium influx occurs. Sodium is again moving passively. You can see here the ion channels, they are responsible for the movement of substance passively, means from high concentration to low concentration. Diffusion, it is causing diffusion. No active transport is occurring through the ion channels. It's only the passive diffusion, simple diffusion हो रहा है. Okay, it's not even the facilitated diffusion, it's the simple diffusion process, but binding of the ligand open the channels and the ions, they move inside or outside. But here we are giving the example of sodium. So sodium moves from outside to inside because its concentration is high in the ECF as compared to ICF, and this channel is responsible for the generation of graded potential. The these gated, non-gated channels or the lead channels, they were responsible for generation of resting membrane potential. The gated channels में से जो chemically or ligand gated, it is responsible for the graded potential. Then move on to the mechanically gated. Now here we can see an example of the mechanically gated. It open and close in case of due to mechanical deformation of the membrane. If they, what happens whenever they are mechanically deformed, whenever for example someone pressure, putting pressure over here, if pressure is applied, these channels they get, initially they were closed, but when the pressure is being applied, you can see there is a mechanical deformation and the channels they are going to open. So just the mechanical deformation opens the ion channels, and they are also responsible for the generation of graded potential. The third example, which is not shown over here, is the thermally gated channels, and they open and close due to the change in temperature. Okay, just the change in temperature, either you make it too hot or too cold, and the channels they are going to open up. Okay, and they are also responsible for the generation of graded potential. The last is the voltage gated channel. Now what happens? The change in voltage is going to open or close these channels. Okay, whenever there is voltage change across the membrane, these channels they open or close, and they actually are responsible for the generation of action potential. So we have got three types of potential: resting membrane potential. These all are the types of membrane potential, and they are actually responsible for the resting membrane potential is generated by the leak channels. The graded potential is generated by the chemically gated, mechanically gated, and thermally gated channels, and the action potential is generated by the voltage gated channels, which open and close due to change in voltage across the membrane. Now let's discuss the transport process in brief. We know that we have got a passive transport and the active transport. Passive transport includes diffusion, and which may be simple diffusion and facilitated diffusion. And simple diffusion, first, what is diffusion? Is nothing but it's the net movement of molecule from high concentration to low concentration है, ऐसे ही है. So net movement of molecule from high concentration to low without the use of any energy. It occurs, it divided into two processes, simple and facilitated. In simple diffusion, you can see that either the substance is moving through the membrane or through the ion channels. Okay, since few substances, they are not lipid soluble, they cannot pass like this, so they need some medium through which they pass. Simple, they are moving down the concentration gradient, but here the substance is lipid soluble and here the substance is not lipid soluble. For example, here this is oxygen and carbon dioxide gas. They are both lipid soluble. They can simply cross the membrane. But here they are the ions which cannot cross. So ions, they move through the channel proteins. So both of these, they are included in the simple diffusion. And in the facilitated diffusion, you need a carrier protein. But there are few substances which are larger enough, they cannot pass through the lipid membrane. They are actually the non-polar molecule. They are actually the polar molecules, and they cannot cross the membrane, and they don't have the channels also. So they passes through the membrane by binding with the carrier protein, and then they are transported to other side of the membrane. Such process is known as facilitated diffusion. Beside all these diffusions, they do not need the energy, and the diffusion is always down the concentration gradient. Here is the active transport, in which the carrier proteins are needed, and these carrier proteins, they help in movement in the substance against the concentration gradient with the use of energy. The substance can move either from outside to inside or inside to outside, depending against, they move actually against the concentration gradient. This is known as the active transport process. I hope you understand this review. Now let's move on to the actual topic, which is known as the membrane potential. Now what is membrane potential? Definition is the separation of opposite charges across the membrane. Separation of opposite charges across the membrane, or difference in the relative number of cations and anions in the ECF and ICF. Please focus on the definition. Difference in the relative number of cations and anions in the ECF and ICF. Difference in the number of positive and negative ions in the ECF and ICF. I'll show you the slide. Yes. Now here you can see this diagram best explains what the membrane potential is. Now here we can see a membrane, which is there is a membrane which these are the two areas. For example, one is ECF and other is ICF. Okay, what we are looking here, that there are equal number of charges on the both side of the membrane, means equal positive. There are 10 positive ions and there are 10 negative ions over this side of the membrane, and there are positive and 10 negative ions on this side of the membrane. So we say that there are 10 positive ions and 10 negative ions over here, and there are 10 positive and 10 negative ions over here. So will this membrane have a membrane potential? No. According to our definition, there is no difference in the number of cations and anions across the membrane. In the ECF and ICF, for example, one is ECF and other is ICF, we can see that there is no relative difference in the number of positive and negative ions, no difference in the number of cations and anions. They are equal. So we say that this membrane has no membrane potential. It has a zero potential. It has no potential. Now let's imagine that few of the positive ions, they are moved, since this membrane is permeable. So few of the positive ions, they have moved from this side, from this pink side to this side. Few of the, for example, the 5 of the positive charges, they are moved over here. So now there are, in the blue portion, there are excess of positive charges, means now there are 15 positive charges, but the negative charges are the same. Here now, since the positive ions, they are moved to the other side, So here only there are 5 positive charges, and the 10 negative charges, they are in the same, because they didn't move. Okay, it's only the positive charges which has moved over here. So is there now the difference in the number of relative number of positive charges across the membrane? Yes, there is a difference. So this membrane has got some value of membrane potential. Okay, now actually what happened, that these separated charges, they have the potential. Actually, they are responsible for generation of potential. There are 5 excess charges, positive charges in this blue area. So they line up over here, and there are 5 excess negative charges over here, because since the positive charges, they have moved other side, so negative charges, they are in excess. Always the positive and negative, they attract toward each other. You can see that positive is attracted towards negative in this case, and all the positives, they are attracted towards negative, and there is no net membrane potential. But here you can see there are excess of 5 positive charges which line up over here, and there are the 5 negative charges which are excess, so they line up over here, because these separated charges, they have a strong force of attraction between them, so they line up over here. And these separated charges, they have the ability, or they are responsible for the generation of membrane potential. They have the ability to generate membrane potential. Okay, because they have since they have the strong force of attraction, and these separated charges, they have a strong force of attraction, and this force of attraction is being utilized to do some amount of work. So this same phenomena is occurring in every electrically powered motors. सब में इसी से ही काम हो रहा होता है. Okay, the charges, they are being separated, and these separated charges have a potential, because since they have a strong force, and this force is utilized, they have a strong force. The separated charges have a strong force of attraction which can be utilized to do some amount of work. So every cell of the body is doing some amount of work, because they have got some value of membrane potential. Now the magnitude of the membrane potential depends upon the number of the charges which are separated. Here in the number of charges separated, there are 3. So here there is a less magnitude, and here the number of charges, they are more as compared to A, and in C they are the most number of charges. So which membrane has got the greatest value of membrane potential? So it is the membrane C, because the more the number of charges are separated, the more it has the ability to do work, and more it has the value of greater it has the value of membrane potential. You can see in this diagram that how the excess negative charges inside, they line up, and they are the excess positive charges, they line up outside, and these two have a strong force of attraction, and this force is being utilized to do some amount of work. So separated charges, they have the force of attraction which can be utilized to do some amount of work. This membrane potential is measured in millivolts. Although we measure in volts, but here since it's a very small value, so membrane potential value we measure in volts, in millivolts, because its value is very small. So 1 millivolt is 1 upon 1000 volts. Okay, so here the membrane potential value is measured in millivolts. So plasma membrane, I discussed that plasma membrane of all the cells, all the living cells, they has got some value of membrane potential. Means they are polarized electrically. Means they are not neutral. They have some value of membrane potential. Their potential is not zero. They are not neutral. Neutral कहने का क्या मतलब है कि equal number of charges हैं. But if there is some difference in the number of charges, and these separated charges, they have a potential to do work. So we say that every cell of the body has some value of membrane potential, and they have they are not actually neutral, or their membrane potential value is not at zero. They have some value due to difference in the charges. Okay, but in the body, these charges actually, we don't have a positive and negative charge. Actually, we have got positive and negative ions, and these ions, are responsible, because they are the positive and negative ions in the ECF and ICF, and which actually the difference in the concentration of these ions, particularly two important ions, that is the sodium and potassium, and large intracellular proteins which has a strong negative charge between the ECF and ICF. So there is a difference in concentration of which charges, mainly the sodium and potassium, mainly the two ions की जो concentration difference in the ECF and ICF is different, which is therefore creating some value of membrane potential. Here we don't have the charge as such ion, we don't have actually as such the positive and negative charges. We have got the ions which have got the positive and negative charges, and their concentration is different in ECF and ICF, and due to which they are responsible for the generation of membrane potential in all the cells of the body, because our cells, they are actually present in the ECF. So cells has got ICF, and outside the cell is the ECF. So there is difference in the concentration of these ions across the membrane, which is responsible for the generation of membrane potential. So discuss different type of cells. Actually, all the cells, I said that all the cells in the body, they have got some value of some value of membrane potential. But there are two cells in the body that are the excitable cells. These are the nerve cells and the muscle cells. Other cells beside the nerve and muscle cells, they are known as non-excitable cells. But the nerve and the muscle cells, they are known as the excitable cells, because once they are excited, once they are stimulated, they have the capability that they can change their membrane potential, and they can be, whenever they are excited, they can change their value of membrane potential, and which serve as electric signals, which can move further in the form of impulse, which can serve as electric signals. ठीक है, यानी whenever they are excited, that's why they are known as excitable cells, because they can be excited. It's a nerve cells and the muscle cells, all the three muscles: skeletal muscles, cardiac muscles, and smooth muscles, and the nerve cells, that are the neurons. Neurons and the muscle cells, they are known as the excitable cells, because whenever they are stimulated, they can change their value of membrane potential, and that can serve as electric signals. We will see later on. Other cells of the body beside these two cells, they are known as the non-excitable cells, and they do not exhibit this property that they can change their membrane potential. Okay, they have the ability to do work because of the change, because of the some value of membrane potential, but they cannot generate electrical signals. Okay, so how we define the resting membrane potential? The resting membrane potential is the membrane potential present in cells of non-excitable tissues and excitable tissues when they are at rest. Okay, so as I told you that there is some value of membrane potential in all the cells, means in all the non-excitable cells, and also in the excitable cells when they are at rest, means when the excitable cells, they are not stimulated. Okay, they are at rest, and the value of resting membrane potential is different in different type of cells. So membrane potential present in the non-excitable tissues, and in the excitable tissues when they are at rest is known as resting membrane potential, or simply we say RMP. Now, what are the factors which are responsible for the generation and maintenance of resting membrane potential? So, we said that the electrical charges, they are carried by the ions, and the two key ions which are responsible for the generation of resting membrane potential, they are the sodium and potassium. The concentration difference of these ions is different in ECF and ICF, and the intracellularly there are proteins which are negatively charged, which remain in the cell, which cannot cross the membrane. Okay, so we will discuss how this A negative charges we have denoted as A negative. These A negative, they are nothing but they are the intracellular proteins with a negative charge. Okay, and the two key ions which are responsible for the generation of resting membrane potential, they are the sodium and potassium. Because of their concentration difference and because of their permeability differences, these two key ions, they are very important in the generation of RMP, that is the resting membrane potential. Let's discuss first the normal concentrations of sodium and potassium in the ECF and ICF. To understand the generation of RMP, you must know that what is the concentration of these both the sodium and potassium in the ECF and in the ICF. In the extracellular fluid, I told you sodium is more, which is about 142 milliequivalents per liter, and inside the cell it is at 10 milliequivalents per liter. It's low in the ICF. Intracellularly it is low. Okay. So second thing is the potassium. Potassium ions, you can see in the ECF, they are very low and about 4 milliequivalents per liter, and they are about 140 milliequivalents per liter in the intracellular fluid. Okay, we are only concerned with these two key ions, and their concentration difference is important in the generation of resting membrane potential. We are doing how the generation of RMP occur in both the excitable and the non-excitable cells, because RMP is present in both the cells, in the excitable cells also, in the non-excitable cells also. But I told you that in the excitable cells, when they are stimulated, then they don't have the RMP. The RMP changes to the electrical signals, and two type of electrical signals may occur. One is graded potential and other is action potential. When at rest, they have got resting membrane potential. So the membrane potential at rest in the excitable cells and in the non-excitable cells is known as resting membrane potential. Simple. Okay, now you have to learn the values of these two. Third, actually I told you the proteins. The protein concentration is very high. You can see it's 40 milliequivalent per liter inside the cell, and it's very less in the outside the cell. Okay, so that's why inside the cell it creates a bit negativity, and they are also cannot cross the membrane. The one property of protein is they cannot cross the membrane. They are large particles, they cannot cross the membrane. Now the concentration difference of sodium and potassium is maintained by the sodium potassium pump. You know this, how this concentration gradient is maintained. कि sodium जो है, although it is leaking, sodium is leaking inside from ECF because it's in high concentration. It is all going to leak inside. Potassium is all going to leak outside. Leak channels are always open, but which thing is actually maintaining their concentration difference is the sodium potassium pump. What is the function of sodium potassium pump? It pumps 3 sodium out and 2 potassium in. It pumps 3 sodium out. So the sodium which is moving inside down the concentration gradient is pumped back against the gradient by means of sodium potassium pump, which pumps 3 sodium out and which pumps 2 potassium in. So the concentration gradient is maintained by the sodium potassium pump, and which is very important for the generation of RMP. है ना? RMP की generation के लिए we need the concentration difference, and this concentration difference is really maintained by the sodium potassium pump. And one thing I told you that plasma membrane is impermeable to protein. So these proteins, they are actually designated as A negative हमने proteins के लिए लिया है. It's just but we have designated with A negative particles, and they are actually the protein which are present inside the cell which cannot cross the cell membrane. Okay, now this slide shows actually that there is more permeability of potassium ions as compared to sodium ion in the resting state. We are doing the generation of RMP, how it is generated. Before the actual generation of RMP, we have to discuss some important points. So one of the most important point is that we have discussed that concentration of sodium and potassium is different in ECF and ICF. Okay, and more sodium outside and more potassium inside the cell. This is one very important point. Second, we did that the concentration gradient of this sodium and potassium is maintained by the sodium potassium pump. Now we are saying that there is more permeability of potassium ions as compared to sodium ions in the resting state. Now why is it so? Here in the diagram you can see that in purple these are the potassium leak channels, and this is the sodium leak channels. There is only one sodium leak channels and there are many potassium channels. So it seems that there are more number of leak channels are present for potassium as compared to sodium. Okay, so what will happen that in the resting state, the leak channels, they are always open, and I told you that these leak channels, they are responsible for the generation of resting membrane potential. So we can see that in the resting state, since there are more potassium channels, so naturally more potassium is going to leak through these channels as compared to sodium. Okay, there is about 100 to 500 more. A few books says 100 and few books says 500, any of the number, but it is that the potassium leak channels, they are more in number as compared to sodium. So potassium leaks more outside as compared to sodium coming in. Okay, and the movement is always down the concentration gradient through these leak channels. Since more potassium channels, more potassium will leak out of the cell as compared to sodium coming inside. Moreover, the hydrated form of potassium, actually these ions, they exist in the body in the hydrated form. They attach the water molecule all around them. Okay, although potassium molecular weight is more as compared to sodium, the size of the potassium is larger, but the hydrated form of potassium is smaller as compared to hydrated form of sodium, because sodium attracts more water molecule and it becomes larger in size. Okay, so potassium size, the hydrated form of potassium is smaller as compared to sodium. So smaller size, so chances that it may leak more. And second, it has more number of leak channels in the resting state. The more number of potassium leak out as compared to sodium, because the number of leak channels, actually they are more for potassium as compared to sodium. Now, before starting the generation of RMP, one more key point which is very important. We know that the concentration gradient for potassium is from inside to outside. This arrow, the above arrow is showing the concentration gradient. The concentration gradient for potassium is towards inside to outside because there is more potassium inside. Please remember these key points when we are going to generate the RMP. So the potassium is more in the ICF. So its concentration gradient is in this direction from ICF to inside. And the concentration gradient for the sodium is from outside to inside. Okay, now what about the electrical gradient? The electrical, since both of these ions, they are positive ions, so naturally they are going to be attracted towards the negative side of the membrane. Now whichever side is the negative side, they will be attracted towards that side. Okay, the concentration gradient and the electrical gradient together, they are known as electrochemical gradient. Okay, you will find this word in the books, electrochemical gradient, which means both electrical and the chemical gradient or the concentration gradient. Now the concentration gradient for potassium is from inside to outside, and the concentration gradient for sodium is from outside to inside. Okay, we are not going to consider other ions because during the resting state these two ions, they are only responsible for the generation of RNP. The conductivity of other ions is not responsible for the generation of RNP. Secondly, I told you that these two ions, they being the positive ions, they are always attracted towards the negative side of the membrane. So their electrical gradient is towards the negative side, negatively charged side of the membrane. Whichever is the negatively charged side, they will be attracted towards that side. Okay. So now let's start the generation with the key points. Keep in mind, and let's start the generation of RNP. We will see that 20% of the resting membrane potential is directly generated by sodium potassium pump, and 80% of the RNP is generated by the passive diffusion of sodium and potassium down the concentration gradient through the leak channels. I told you the leak channels of sodium and potassium, they are responsible for the generation of RNP, and 80% is the role of these channels which cause diffusion of these ions down the concentration gradient, and 20% of this RNP is generated by the sodium potassium pump. So now let's discuss first the 80% role which is produced by the passive of sodium, and now we are doing the effect of movement of only the potassium ions. Okay, now we have discussed that 80% of our RNP is generated by the passive diffusion of sodium and potassium down the concentration gradient through the leak channels. Now let's imagine that our membrane at a time is only permeable to one ion, and first we do that. It's a hypothesis. We are making a hypothesis that our membrane is only permeable to potassium. Okay, although it is not true because our membrane is permeable to both the ions in the resting state because their leak channels are present and both ions they are leaking. But we are making a hypothesis that our membrane is only more permeable to potassium ion. So let's see what effect is going to be produced. Now concentrate on this diagram. What it is showing that in the ECF we have got less potassium, about 4, and in the ICF we have got high amount of potassium. It's about 140 milliequivalents per liter. So potassium leak channels are present in this membrane, and they are going to causes the leakness of or passive diffusion of potassium down the concentration gradient, that it is all moving against towards the concentration gradient from ICF into the ECF. Okay, so potassium is leaking out. What will create it inside the cell? Because the A ions, which are the negative protein ions which are impermeable, they remain inside, and the potassium ion being the positive ion is leaking out. The inside of the membrane will become relatively negative. A positivity is going outside, so the inside of the membrane will become negative. So the concentration gradient for the potassium from inside to outside will create negativity inside the membrane. Now this ion is going to leak out, but due to the electrical gradient, now this potassium ion which is leaking out will be attracted towards the negativity inside. It will be attracted. I told you the positive ion will be attracted. Its electrical gradient will be towards the negative side of the membrane. Now the negative side of the membrane is this one inside the cell because of the leaking of potassium down the concentration gradient. So the membrane becomes negative inside. So this will attract the potassium ions and they will start moving inside back. Okay, initially the concentration is gradient will be more, so more potassium will leak as compared to the electrical gradient, but less potassium will move inside. But a time will come when the amount of potassium leaving the cell by the concentration gradient will be exactly equal to the amount of potassium which is coming back in the cell. okay, due to equal and opposite electrical gradient. At equilibrium, what will happen? The potassium leaking down the concentration gradient will be equal to the potassium leaking back in the cell due to opposite and equal electrical gradient. So the amount potassium leaving, for example, if 3 potassium or 4 potassium going outside, or say 10 potassium going outside, the same 10 will come inside. So what will happen to the net movement of this potassium? This is going to be 0. There will be no net movement. Although the ions are moving, but there will be no net movement of potassium down the concentration gradient due to equal and opposite electrical gradient. So such a potential at which no net movement of ion occurs down the concentration gradient due to equal and opposite electrical gradient is known as Nernst potential. What it is known as? Nernst potential, or it is also known as equilibrium potential. Since it is the equilibrium potential for potassium, it is known as Nernst potential or equilibrium potential for potassium. Got it? And it is calculated by Nernst equation. So Nernst equation is nothing but it is used to calculate the equilibrium potential which is caused by a single ion, because we are talking about the single ion. So for the single ion there is an equation which is known as Nernst equation, and Nernst equation actually calculates the Nernst potential, or other name is equilibrium potential. Here we are talking about potassium, so it is known as Nernst equation for potassium or equilibrium potential for potassium, and its equation is EMF, which is nothing but electromotive force, or we say that voltage is equals to plus minus 61 log concentration outside upon concentration inside. Through this equation, you can calculate the Nernst potential for potassium. Okay, let's do the calculation. So now let's calculate, put the values in the above equation. In the last slide, we saw the equation that voltage or electromotive force or Nernst potential is equals to plus minus 61 log concentration of potassium outside upon concentration of potassium inside. What is outside? Its value is 4. Inside it's 140. 4 upon 140 will give you 135. 135, which when you divide it, it will give you 1.54. How 1.54? Because first you have taken out the log of 1 upon 35, and log of 1 upon 35 is 1.54. So 61 multiplied by 1.54 will give you 94 millivolts. Now the sign is plus or minus. This sign we put on the basis that what is happening inside the cell. Now since it's a positive ion and it is leaving the cell, what it is doing inside the cell? It is creating negativity. So what is happening inside the cell? Negativity, because the positive ion moving outside creates negativity. So inside there is negativity, so we put the negative sign. Okay, if inside there is a positivity, we will put the positive sign. So sign depends what is happening inside the cell. After the movement of potassium, the inside of the cell becomes negative. So this minus 94 is the potential at which it's the Nernst potential for potassium or equilibrium potential for potassium, because at this voltage, when inside is minus 94, what will happen? The amount of potassium leaving the cell will be equal to the amount of potassium coming inside the cell. Means the two gradients, they are equal. Okay, but they are opposite. The concentration gradient is from inside to outside, and the electrical gradient is from outside to inside. Such a potential at which no net movement of ion occurs down the concentration gradient due to equal and opposite electrical gradient. Although the concentration gradient is there, so potassium can leak out, but since equal and opposite electrical gradient, the potassium that is leaking out will move back into the cell, and at this potential no net movement of the ion is going to occur, and its value is about minus 94 millivolts for potassium. Okay, we are generating the value of RMP, and we are generating this RMP value in the skeletal muscles. Okay, its value is minus 90. We are calculating how we have derived this minus RMP in the skeletal muscles. Why we are doing in the skeletal muscles? I told you this is the topic we study in the skeletal muscles, and in the books it is recorded in the skeletal muscle. Once you understand the skeletal muscle mechanics, then you can easily switch on to the cardiac muscle, that what is RMP, what is action potential, you can better understand over there. So we are deriving minus 90 millivolts, which is nothing but which is the resting membrane potential of the skeletal muscles. So what is the equilibrium potential or the Nernst potential? Please learn this definition. It's the potential at which no further net diffusion of ion occurs down the concentration gradient due to equal and opposite electrical gradient, and Nernst equation is used to calculate this equilibrium potential. When you are calculating the equilibrium potential or the Nernst potential of a single ion, you use the equation which is known as the Nernst equation. Now let's make another hypothesis that our membrane is only permeable to sodium ion. Okay, so now we are calculating the Nernst equation for a single ion, that is the sodium ion, and which is also known as the equilibrium potential for sodium. Okay, now let's discuss the sodium ions. Now the size of the sodium ion is here larger in the ECF. It means it's in more concentration in the ECF as compared to ICF. In the ECF its concentration is about 140, and in the ICF its concentration is about 14, and the concentration gradient from of sodium will be from ECF to ICF, because higher in the ECF and low in the ICF, so it is going to move down the concentration gradient. Passive diffusion of sodium is going to occur down the concentration gradient from ECF to ICF. So due to this movement, what will happen to the outside the membrane? All the positive ion is coming inside. So inside of the membrane will become positive and outside will be relatively negative. Our membrane is only permeable to the positive ions, that is sodium. We are taking only single ion, that is the sodium ion, and we are talking about that it is permeable only to this positive ion. So it creates a negativity outside the membrane. Now this again, the sodium is the positive ion, its electrical gradient is always towards the negative side of the membrane. So since it becomes negative outside, so this positive ion will be attracted towards that negative side of the membrane. The sodium ion which is coming inside will move back to the outside because of this electric charges. Initially the concentration gradient is more for sodium, so more sodium leaks out and less coming inside because the electrical gradient is not so much large. But what will happen? A time will come when the electrical gradient will be large enough that the sodium which is moving down the concentration gradient will be all moving towards the other side of the membrane due to equal and opposite electrical gradient. Same we did with the potassium. Here we are doing with the sodium, but the direction is opposite because sodium concentration gradient is towards ECF to ICF, and the sodium ions will all move inside due at the equilibrium, at the point where the electrical force is equal to the concentration gradient. At this time, no net movement will occur of sodium down the concentration gradient, due to equal and opposite electric gradient. Okay, so we can calculate the value by the Nernst equation. Similarly, we are using the Nernst equation for single ion, that is the sodium ion. EMF is equals to plus minus 61 log concentration outside upon concentration inside. So outside it's about 140 and 15 log of 10, 140 of 15 divide kiya will come 10, log of 10 will give you 1. So 61 into 1 is equals to 61 millivolts. So the Nernst potential or the equilibrium potential for the sodium is 61 millivolts. Now why we put the plus ion over here? Because as I told you that the sodium is the positive ion, and positive ion actually when move inside the cell it will cause positivity in the cell, and we take the sign always with reference to cell interior. So it means that the cell interior is becoming positive because the sodium ion is moving inside the cell, becoming positive. So we will put the positive sign, and this sign says that our membrane is 61 millivolts more positive inside as compared to outside. In case of potassium, it was minus 94. That means that our cell interior is 90 millivolts more negative as compared to outside the cell. Okay. Now, up till now we discussed, we are doing the generation of RMP, and we are using the Nernst equation, but we discussed that Nernst equation is a hypothetical one and it is only used for the single ion. And since we have discussed that during the resting state both ions are permeable, although it is more permeable for potassium, but both the ions are permeable and they are responsible for the generation of RMP. So in the generation of RMP, the basic equation which is more helpful, that is the Goldman equation, because in this Goldman equation we can calculate the equilibrium potential for two or more than two ions. Okay, now in the previous slide I forgot to mention that the Nernst potential mein we wrote concentration outside upon inside. Either you write a concentration outside upon inside or you write concentration inside upon outside, it will doesn't make a difference. आप values आगे ऊपर नीचे कर दो, ऊपर inside लिख दो, नीचे outside लिख दो. Why is it so? Because you are taking the log. Once you will take the log, फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. ठीक है, वे log निकालने में डिवीजन ऊपर नीचे करने में कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. So you don't have to learn के ऊपर न्यूमरेटर में outside है या डिनोमिनेटर में outside है. You can write either of it. Okay, so and the Goldman equation is exactly the same, but when you consider more than one ions, more than two ions actually, what you do is actually two ions or more than two ions, you not only need the concentration of that ion, you also need the permeability of the ion. Okay, how much permeable the ion is. Okay, in the calculation of Nernst equation, there was only concentration outside upon inside or inside upon outside. But here in the equation of Goldman, what is there? There is not only the concentration, but there is also the factor of permeability. You don't have to derive this equation. Just you have to remember the equation, same, plus minus 61 log. Now you can see, since there are more than one ions, we will not talk about the chloride ion because it is not concerned in the resting state. I told you that chloride permeability is not affected, so it is not responsible for the generation of RMP. So only two ions we will be discussing, and we are adding the two ions. We are not adding only their concentration. This sign shows the concentration, this bracket sign. So concentration of potassium along with the permeability of the potassium outside upon the concentration of concentration of potassium inside and its permeability, plus then sodium ions may be same. You take the concentration and you take the permeability factor. Then take the outside and inside. Okay, and then you do the calculations. There is no need to do the calculations, and it's not given in your books. just remember that the Goldman equation takes into account both the permeability as well as the concentration gradient. Okay, and the sum will determine, and then you calculate, and then you will see that after putting all these values, the combining the potentials, it will give you the value of about minus 86 millivolts. Why you put the minus sign? It shows that the cell interior is 86 millivolts more negative as compared to sodium. Sorry, more negative as compared to outside. So the equilibrium potential for sodium and potassium combined through the Goldman equation is calculated to be minus 86 millivolts. सबकी समझ में आ गया? When you combine these two factors, we use the different equation, that is the Goldman equation, which uses not only the concentration but also uses the permeability. And when we keep all the values, and we see that the the equilibrium potential for both the ions using the Goldman equation is minus 86 millivolts. Okay, now is this you can see that on the Nernst equation it was minus 94 for potassium and it was plus 61 for sodium. So which one is more nearer to the RMP? RMP is minus 90. So we can see that the equilibrium potential for potassium is more nearer to the resting membrane potential, that is minus 90. It means that the ion which is more permeable, that is actually more responsible for the generation of RMP. Okay, so RMP is more contributed by the equilibrium potential of sodium, and it is very far from the equilibrium potential of sodium. You can see it's plus 61 and RMP is minus 91. So there is a quite a lot of difference. It means that potassium is more responsible because it is more permeable. जितना लीक होगा उसकी वजह से the potential is going to generate it. So it is more responsible for the generation of RMP because we discussed that during resting states potassium ion is more permeable because it has more leak channels. So we have derived minus 86 by the concentration passive diffusion of ions, that is sodium and potassium, down the concentration gradient using the Goldman equation. We have derived a value of minus 86 millivolts. Still we have not reached minus 90. Now here we can see that ions with highest permeability will make the greatest contribution. So which ion is more permeable? Potassium. So naturally the highest contribution is by potassium and least by sodium. Okay, and the membrane is not permeable to chloride at rest, so you drop it from the equation. So we haven't used it in the equation because the membrane is not permeable to chloride. Now we discussed that 80% of our RMP is generated by the passive diffusion of sodium and potassium down the concentration gradient. Another 20% is generated by the sodium potassium pump. Now what is the function of sodium potassium pump? That it pumps 3 sodium out and it pumps 2 potassium ions inside. So how many sodium ions they are moving out? More positive ions are going out as the less positive ions are coming inside. So it creates a slight degree of negativity, and that negativity is about minus 4 millivolts. A slight negativity inside. Okay, so minus 4 millivolts is generated by the contribution of sodium potassium pump. This is the main function of the sodium potassium pump in creating the RMP, that it is giving us minus 4 millivolts. Okay, minus 86 was given by the passive diffusion of ions and minus 4 is generated by the sodium potassium pump. But the main role of sodium potassium pump is not in generating the RMP, but the main role of sodium potassium pump is in maintaining the RMP. It maintains the RMP. How it maintains the RMP? It maintains the concentration gradient of sodium and potassium. You can see that if this pump is not going to pump back the sodium ions outside, the concentration gradient of sodium will be disturbed and the concentration gradient of potassium will be disturbed. So how they are going to leak down their concentration gradient if their concentration is disturbed? So their concentration gradient is actually maintained by sodium potassium pump, and that's why they can leak and causes the main contribution. The main contribution is passive diffusion. So how this passive diffusion is going to maintain? By the sodium potassium pump, because it maintains the concentration gradient of these ions across the membrane. Okay. So net RMP is calculated. Minus 86 is contributed by both the sodium and potassium passive movement, and minus 4 by the sodium potassium pump, and it will give you minus 90 millivolts. This shows that our cell in the resting state is 90 millivolts more negative inside as compared to outside the cell. Cell inside always in the resting state is minus 90 millivolts, means it is 90 millivolts more negative ions inside as compared to outside. It's in the resting state. And the 20% of this RMP is generated by sodium potassium pump, and about 80% is generated by the concentration gradient of sodium and potassium. But this concentration gradient is maintained by sodium potassium pump. That's why we say that the main role of sodium potassium pump is not in generation of RMP, but instead it is in the maintenance of the RMP. Okay. So this chart is showing us the normal values of resting membrane potential in different cells, and in the skeletal muscle we discussed, and we not only discussed, we also derived its value, that is minus 94 minus 90 millivolts. In smooth muscles it's less negative, minus 60. In cardiac muscles it's minus 85 to minus 90. In nerve cells it's about minus 70. In different books you can find some differences, but these are the major values, and you can find these values in most of the books. So you have to learn these values, and they are asked in the viva or in the MCQs. So these are the RMPs in different cells. These three are the excitable cells, and this nerve cell also. These three are the muscle cells and nerve cells. These all are the excitable cell, and value of RMP is actually present in all the cells, but in the excitable cells it's only present in the resting state, means when they are not stimulated. And we are more concerned with all these cells because we will discuss these processes, the action potential in all these cells. But the nerve cell we are going to discuss in second year, but these three cells we will discuss here in the first year. Okay, now let's discuss few BCQs to clear more your concept. Which terminology is used to name the membrane potential at which net flux of an ion across the membrane is zero? It's either resting membrane potential, spike potential, threshold, or equilibrium potential. So at which potential the net movement of ion is zero? It's at the equilibrium potential, when no net movement of ion occurs down the concentration gradient due to equal and opposite electric gradient, and this is also known as the Nernst potential. Okay. Now next is, which of the following is important in maintaining the resting membrane potential? It's outward potassium current, inward sodium current, inward chloride current, or sodium potassium pump. I know you already know that the maintenance of the resting membrane potential is the function of sodium potassium pump. Very good. Okay, another BCQ. This is the potential of an excitable cell when it is not transmitting a nerve signal. Is it action potential? Is it graded potential? Is it resting membrane, or the Nernst potential? Potential of an excitable cell when it is not transmitting a nerve signal, means when it is at rest. So this potential is known as resting membrane potential. Which ions are mainly responsible for the generation of RMP? Potassium through voltage gated, Sodium through voltage gated, potassium through leak channels, and sodium through leak channels. Here the question has been made confusion. Why? Because actually there are this voltage gated and leak channel both. I told you that voltage gated channels, they are responsible for the generation of action potential, and leak channels, they are responsible for RMP. But which leak channels, potassium or sodium? More mainly responsible is the potassium. Okay, because the membrane is more permeable to potassium during resting state. Which of the following ion is mainly responsible for RMP? Sodium, potassium, calcium or chloride? Yes, you know this, that it's the potassium. Okay, thank you students. Thanks for listening. Any queries, you can contact me via my email, and anything, any difficulty, even you can ask me on the Edmodo. Thank you. Thanks for listening.